Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Addicted to Success podcast. I'm your host, Joel Brown, and I'm here today with the beautiful influencer, modeler, what would you say? I'd say all-round amazing, sweet human being, Charly Jordan.
Welcome to Addicted to Success TV. I'm your host, Joel Brown, and we're going deep into the mind of what it takes to be a successful individual. We have incredible game changers, entrepreneurs, philanthropists, billionaires, and inspiring individuals who have achieved a massive level of success. Now let's get into this episode.
Charly, thank you for jumping on the Addicted to Success podcast, and thank you for coming to Bali too.
It is a pleasure to come here. I've never been here before, and I've already been like dumbfounded by all the beautiful things that are here. It's crazy, and the people are super sweet.
It's amazing. I wish we could turn the cameras around right now and you could just see this epic view of the ocean tumbling in with the beautiful pool right in front of us. Charly, you know, I'm excited to talk with you today about social media, first of all, and second, how do you inspire people through this platform? You know, I think that a lot of people that are listening right now are looking at building a brand online, but they're not doing it the right way, right? They're doing it for the approval of others. They're not trusting themselves. They're maybe even not really presenting something that's truly them. They've adopted somebody else's definition of success. So let's take it back to where you first started real quick so that the audience can understand where you came from and where you are now. How did this all start for you on social media?
That's a good question. So this all started for me, I would say about 2 years ago. I always looked up to people on social media, you know, all through elementary school, all through high school, middle school. I mean, Alexis Ren and Jay Alvarez, right? Like they were the dream couple, okay? And I saw people doing this, and I really wanted to do it. You know, everybody wants to do it. But I just never thought it was actually like a reality or something that could really happen. So I did sports all growing up. 10 years of soccer, 4 years of track. My freshman year of high school, I was ranked number 6 in the United States, and I trained Olympically for hurdles for the next 3 years. And I signed on a full ride scholarship to go run for 4 years at Cal State Fullerton in California. And it was 3 months before I was supposed to graduate, and I had just been taking pictures for fun all through high school and posting it, you know. I was born and raised in Las Vegas, and there's no industry there as far as modeling, acting. It's just gambling. So
Lots of partying too.
Yeah, it was super sketchy, weird guys, and I just like, you know, I tried and I did it for fun. I had my mom take pictures, whatever. But just from doing it for fun, I had a little bit of a base, and then I moved to Utah my senior year where there's a bunch of wedding photographers, so I started doing wedding shoots and just stuff for fun. You know, I was still doing sports. Everybody thought I was going to go through with sports. 3 months before I was supposed to go, I decommitted and gave up like a $50,000 scholarship to do this instead. And everybody thought I was insane. Nobody supported me. I actually got kicked out of my house halfway through my senior year of high school when this happened, and didn't have anything. It was like ground zero, you know, because I was raised in a very religious family, super strict Mormon. So it was a combination of things, and I just saw the trend in social media, and I was like, if I'm gonna do this, I have to do it now. I saw the rise, and I saw people actually starting to do it as a career, and you know, with the generation gap, nobody understood what I was talking about. Nobody else saw it. My friends saw it, but it's such a risky move, like to actually like drop everything and do that. So, you know, I just decided to do it. I just knew I had to do it. I felt it in my gut, and it was a 100% a gut instinct. It made no sense whatsoever. But I just knew that I could do it, and so as soon as I graduated high school, I had 100,000. After 9 months, and then from the time I graduated at 100,000 to now, which is 1 year, I went from 100 to 1 million.
Right. Well, you're at 1.2 million followers right now, right? So if you're listening right now, like Charly's not just like, hey, I'll put some pictures up and see what happens. She's legitimately built a brand that has reached many people, has massive influence, travels the world, inspires many, gives back as well. Which is this part I love, is that it's not just, you know, like, hey, here's some pictures of me. It's you've got a lot of depth to what you do, right? You're donating to charities, and you're really pulling people together to be a part of something greater than themselves. So you obviously caught a vision when you first stepped in, and you're like, hey, I see Alexis Ren and Jay Alvarez, and I can see there's this possibility here. What would you say over the last 2 years you've learned in building your personal brand? What do you think are the maybe 3 to 4 key things that you feel would really help people to build their social brand in a way that is authentic, like you have? Yeah,
the reason I got into it wasn't necessarily because I even wanted to travel. Like, I genuinely love taking pictures and making videos. It's so embarrassing, but like, I have videos on YouTube from when I was like 12, like teaching myself how to use iMovie and all this stuff that no one uses anymore, making the dumbest videos. Like, I've done that forever, and for me, I just understood and realized like I'm kind of an emotional person, not in the sense that like I show it, but I have a really hard time continuing to do things that make me unhappy, right? Yeah. So with this, I got into it initially purely for passion. A lot of people get into it because vanity or money or numbers, like trying to have X amount of followers. But for me, I didn't intend on being successful at it. I just did it because I loved it. And I gave up literally everything. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to not do this because I love it. Like, I really did love it. I gave up a lot for it. So when I got into it, I did it. I never thought that I would be where I'm at right now. It was just because I loved it. So I went on a trip. I went on trips for free for probably 6 months. Like, I didn't make money for half a year doing this. I wasn't losing money, but I wasn't making money. It was the all expenses paid, like collaborating with people. That's one tip that I would give everybody. Collaborating with people is like the best way to grow. It really is.
And collaborating in what sense? Tagging each other, or
no? Like, honestly, just working together. One mind is great, but two together always creates something unique and original. And I will never sit here and say like, yeah, I did this all on my own. Like, I will give 50% of the credit to people that I have worked with, people who have seen that I was working hard and believed in me and took a chance on me. And people kind of everyone's about building their brand, and so much of today's society is self-based, kind of like your self-happiness and be your best self, and like that's great, but focusing on others and being selfless is some of the purest happiness that I've felt. So I enjoy helping others and working with other people and creating new things. So I think the collaboration was a big part of it, and then also there was number one, working with other people, and then number two, I would say the ultimate part of my success was also in person, actually being nice to people. Yeah, I think
it goes a long way.
Yeah, I'm dying right now. It's so hot.
It's hot up in here. We had to shut the doors because
it's too windy.
The ocean was. You know what? Let's keep this real. Let's open the doors a little bit.
I'm gonna see if I can turn the AC on. I know that there's air conditioning in here. I'm dying.
Everyone's listening right now. We're in Bali, so you can hear the ocean. Soak it in. If you're not in Bali right now, listen to the ocean in the background of this episode. What a difference, eh?
As I'm talking, I'm like panting. All right.
You had the first one?
One was collaborating with other people. Number two was being a good person. I feel like people tend to put their focus into social media because, right, like obviously posting once a day, whatever, but I cannot tell you how many times I've been with people and they have this bubbly, awesome personality as soon as the camera hits them, but you take it off and it like disappears. Yeah. And for me, even though I film all the time, it's actually like the opposite. I feel a lot more bubbly and like all over the place when there's not a camera on me. The amount of stories people constantly have stories up on their Instagram, and I'm actually really bad at doing that. Like I try to stay off my phone unless it's for posting. And I post once a day, so I hop on for 30 minutes to an hour, and I'm totally guilty of like sitting there forever, but since it's my job, like I've tried to I don't know, people like read through comments. I don't read through my comments. Like, I feel bad because there's so many nice ones on there, but I try not to read through my comments, and I look through my DMs occasionally, but staying off of it I think gives me the space to be creative without being influenced by other people's opinions and judgments. Yes. People get super concerned about Like, there was one time with me, like, people making fun of my eyebrows, and I swear to God, for the next week, I was like, my eyebrows.
I think they look fine.
I know, I think they're
People always
fine.
find
But I did overfill them in, like, a picture, and people were, like, ripping me apart for it. And, you know, girls, I've actually seen, like, it literally tear girls' self-confidence apart, just, like, reading through their comments, whether it's positive or negative. They remember the negative, you know, and I just try to stay a little bit detached from Instagram, and it is my platform for art. It's not where I find validation or any of that.
I love that you said that. You said platform for art. I remember watching a documentary on Walt Disney, right? And he had just created Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and it blew up. And then he had his team working on Pinocchio.
Mm-hmm.
And he came into the room, and his team were like, we can't get this right. We just can't do this. This cartoon's, you know, hard to create. And he got so angry, he threw everything on the table. He said, we're not making cartoons here, we're making art. And his whole team was like, whoa. Like, it shifted their whole perception of what they were creating right there. It wasn't just like a cartoon like everybody else was trying to create. It was
Mm-hmm.
art. And
Yeah.
it's awesome that you, like, look at your work in a similar way too.
Well, it's having it feel like a job versus doing it because you want to be doing it. I think that's, like, a huge part of it. So, like, with that, right, like, he was making art. It was his vision. It wasn't, when you just say a cartoon, like, when I'm like, oh, let's go take pictures, like, sometimes it does feel like a job. Or like, okay, we're gonna take pictures and videos today. It just sounds so general that you're just like, what does that mean? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Or being like, okay, like, I have this idea, like, pitch you an idea, a feeling, and then you go take pictures for it. That's the difference.
Beautiful. I love that. That's great. So we've got some great takeaways so far. Now, tell me a little bit about your daily routine. What's a normal day in the life of Charly Jordan?
I have no routine. My routine is no routine.
No structure, just all freedom, fun.
Absolutely no structure, which is not a good thing. I think I'm kind of pushing it because, so I'm only 19, and I just turned 19 in March. So, I mean, I graduated high school a year and a half ago, and for a while it was to the point where I really wasn't taking care of, like, myself. Like, I was just having a good time, you know, staying out till, because I was young, I had a lot of energy, staying out till 3 in the morning, waking up to do sunrise every morning, like shoots and stuff, and I pushed it for a while, and I just saw how it affected I mean, you could see it on my face, you could see it in my actions, like, I was having a good time, but I wasn't as responsible, I feel like, and so I was working hard, but I was also having a lot of fun, and now I've chilled out a little bit. So, I mean, my routine, I wake up at a different time every morning depending on where I'm at, because the time difference is so aggressive everywhere.
That's true.
So that's partially why I don't have a routine, but I don't want to say I have commitment issues, but I just think because I got kicked out of my house and then went straight into traveling, there was, like, this gap, right, where I never got that transition of, like, learn how to have an apartment, car, like your own car, like monthly payments and bills and stuff. Like, right now I don't have any monthly bills that I have to pay, which is nuts. I don't have a car. I haven't owned a car for 2 years, and I don't own a place. I just live out of my suitcase, and my family lives in Las Vegas, so I'll go back and stay with them occasionally, and then my boyfriend lives in Los Angeles, so I go crash with him, and I don't think I've been in one place longer than 3 weeks for a very long time, so I don't necessarily need all that stuff.
That's freedom right there. I know what it's like to live out of a suitcase. Sometimes it is good to put your suitcase down, pull the stuff out of it, and hang it up for a little bit.
Seriously,
That's really good.
because the main reason I got into this is because my favorite thing is getting to know new people. I genuinely believe that everybody offers something different and unique to learn. So I was giving and giving and giving, right? Like, for a year and a half when I traveled, I wasn't receiving love. I wasn't necessarily, like, I mean, on social media, yes, but there's a different kind of love, like with people that you know, giving it and receiving, and I was just giving. I was going different places, and I was nice to everyone, and I was so I was so excited to get to know everyone, and I gave and gave, and after a year, I was really unhappy, actually. It was a couple months, I took like 2 months to stay in California, and I feel so much better. Yeah.
It's good. You got to listen to yourself sometimes. You got to see how it feels, and yeah, that's the thing. Like, we can get so caught up in our work that we're not creating any harmony in our life, and it starts affecting your immune system, your focus,
my mental health is like a huge thing with me because I have anxiety and struggle with depression, so it's not the easiest thing to balance, and you have to really take care of it, or else you can have like a freak out moment.
Yeah, for sure. So Charly, if someone was, let's say, passionate and inspired to start their own brand, right? How would they monetize? How have you been able to do it? What are some ways that they could monetize online?
So I think one of the biggest mistakes people make is, when there's a number, obviously companies want to work with you. So people will get really excited and they do smaller deals that aren't necessarily long term, and they end up ruining their brand because it's not authentic to them. Like, they'll just take whatever comes their way. With me, even though it was harder because I wasn't making as much money, it's been worth it in the long run because now people feel that authenticity from me. I only worked with brands that I used anyways. So like, a good example is the Pura Vida bracelets. I wore their bracelets for years before they reached out to me because they saw I was wearing it. And we work together now. Like, I didn't have to put on something that I wouldn't normally wear. Same thing with clothes, and anything that I've promoted is something that I normally use anyways. And it's not always easier, but I think it's better because it doesn't feel fake.
Yeah, absolutely. This is good. Awesome. What other things do you have your hands in right now that you'd love to share with us? Any entrepreneurial ventures you've got on the
Yes.
Awesome.
There's a lot of stuff, but there's an app that I'm releasing that is going to allow everyone to see how I travel, where I travel, how I make my videos, eat, sleep, breathe, all that.
Good behind the scenes. Yeah.
Good behind the scenes, because I never really post behind the scenes. I just have, just because, it is hard. It's hard to vlog every day. Like, sometimes waking up, you're just like, I'm kind of an introvert, so talking constantly to a camera is not the easiest thing in the world. So, all my videos, I'm not talking in any of them. I'm just leading someone somewhere or jumping off a cliff. So I haven't had to do a lot of vocals. So it's been really interesting doing that, and it's more me, which I like. And then being able to do trip giveaways, and I'm coming out with a swim line hopefully soon, which I'm really excited about. Opened my own agency, and we're working on signing people right now. We already have 6 people that we represent. I was able to sign some friends of mine that I really believe in, and there's not like really a standard for the agency, but it's very specific to like me seeing that light, that work, that vision, right, in people, and helping them build it. It doesn't matter how many followers they have. It's just like something, I'm not just signing random people. It's very like, okay, I've watched you, I've seen you, like, let's kill it. So. And
it sounds like you're not signing people just because they have, millions of followers. You're signing people even with maybe 30,000, 40,000 followers.
Yeah, we do right now.
Yeah.
I did it. I made the agency in Utah because, Utah is like a secret hub for creatives. If you guys haven't been there, it's like pine trees, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's where I built my entire base following. Because it's a LDS, like Mormon culture, so there's no drugs or alcohol, so they're not distracted by that, and so they hyper-focus on their passions and talents, whether it's music, photography, whatever they choose, and they're so good at it, and they work so hard, and they're such good people, and I found one of the most insane creative communities there. It's awesome.
That is awesome. So if you take a note right now, maybe that's the thing too, like stay away from the drugs and alcohol if you want to hyper-focus on your passion.
As much as, it's fun, and like, for a little bit, but like alcohol is poison in your body, and I think everything in moderation, right? Like, it's not that I don't drink, but just being able to moderate it.
Yeah, beautiful. Awesome stuff. So Charly, thank you so much for jumping in to the Addicted to Success podcast, and for sharing your wisdom on camera too. I appreciate that. Now, we always end this last interview with this one last question, but before that, I just want you to share, where can people find you online?
Online, I have YouTube, Instagram. Instagram is at Charly Jordan, LY, and then like Michael Jordan. And then on YouTube, it's the same thing. At this point, thankfully, can just use my name across all platforms. So there's that, and then the app is coming out next month, so check it out. And the swim line, but you can find everything through my Instagram, so check that out.
Excellent. Now, Charly, here's the last question. If you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to
Oh my
the
gosh.
world, your parting advice, what would that sound like?
Oh God, okay. Serving others is one of the most pure forms of happiness I've ever experienced in my life. And what you put out into the world fully comes back to you. So be a good person, treat other people with respect, and have respect for yourself.
Awesome. Yeah.
Solid handshake. Thank you so much for coming by.